Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're looking at something pretty interesting happening in the workplace,
hmm
specifically how generative AI, it seems like it might actually bridge the generational gap we often see with technology.
Yeah, exactly. We're digging into an article by Stephen Higgins. He's a director of automation and big AI enthusiast.
Right.
It just came out on LinkedIn called Bridging the Generational Gap with Generative AI in the Workplace. And it raises some really good points about why this tech might be different.
And what's really grabbing me is this core idea, unlike before with other big tech changes,
Yeah,
where maybe younger folks jumped on board first and older workers maybe took a bit longer. This time, generative AI could maybe level things out.
right. Maybe even give an edge to people with more experience, which is kind of counterintuitive.
Exactly.
So the interesting thing for you listening is this really different? Does this tech have something unique that makes it easier for everyone to pick up compared to, say, smartphones or the first PCs?
Good question. Are we genuinely seeing a new pattern emerge here?
Let's see.
Okay, so before we jump into how it's bridging the gap, let's just quickly set the scene. What did things look like before generative AI became so widespread? You've probably seen this yourself.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, historically, like the article points out, when new tech hit the workplace,
Yeah.
think desktop computers way back or smartphones more recently,
Mm-hmm.
it was generally the younger generations adopting it faster. Older workers, often had their ways of doing things, systems they knew.
And there's data backing this up, right? Higgins mentions several surveys showing this pretty stark gap in AI use between age groups.
Yeah, stark is a good word for it. Like one big multinational study found only about 15% of workers over 45 were using generative AI at work. 15%.
Wow. Okay. That's a big
It
difference.
really is.
Yeah.
And then you look at the other end of the spectrum, a U.S. survey, something like 64% of baby boomers had never used AI on the job,
Yeah.
but flipped that. And about 75% of Gen Z employees had used it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, not small gaps at all. A real divide in who is using these tools.
And there's more, right? A UK survey showed similar stuff.
UK showed only 22% of workers 55 and up using AI weekly. Compare that to 63% of the 18 to 24 group.
63. Wow.
Yeah, it's consistent. Salesforce research found most generative AI users were millennials or Gen Z. And guess who the non-users mostly were?
Let me guess. Gen X and boomers.
Bingo. 68% of non-users fell into those groups.
Okay, so this wasn't just a blip. Even recent surveys from 2024 showed this trend holding, yeah.
Right, Randstad found younger generations way more likely to use AI. A lot of Gen X and boomers still saying never use it at work.
And Alight Solutions, same story.
Yep, same story. Two-thirds of boomers not using AI at all. Younger groups using it more, plus getting more encouragement from their bosses to try it out. So, yeah, pre-generative AI. Clear generational gap.
Okay, and this is important, Higgins stresses this isn't necessarily about older workers not being capable.
No, definitely not.
It's often more about things like, well, less exposure, maybe the training wasn't quite right for them, or maybe they just didn't see how it fit into their day-to-day immediately.
That's such a crucial point. It's not about ability.
Yeah.
And the article even notes like around a quarter of the non-users over 45 were actually interested in learning AI.
Okay, so the curiosity was there.
Exactly. It suggests the willingness is there. They just need the right opportunity, the right framing to see the relevance for their experience.
Right. Okay, so that sets the stage. Now let's get into the interesting part. Where are we actually seeing this bridging happen? Higgins gives some examples, right?
Yeah, he does. And one really compelling area is knowledge work. Think lawyers, accountants, that kind of thing.
Okay.
The article talks about senior attorneys using AI for research, drafting documents. But here's the kicker for you listening. It's not always about learning some brand new complex piece of software.
Ah, okay, so it's integrated.
Exactly. Often these AI features are just woven into the tools they already use. Their legal research databases, their word processors.
So they might not even think I'm using AI now.
Precisely. They just notice, sifting through all that case law is faster, or getting that first draft of the contract isn't quite so tedious anymore.
There's a quote about that, isn't there?
Yeah. The search process is more intuitive. The first draft of the contract is a little less tedious to produce. It just smooths things out without a massive learning curve.
That makes sense. It lowers the barrier if you don't have to learn a whole new system from scratch.
Totally. And another fascinating angle is how experience itself, like the kind older managers have, can actually be a big plus when using AI effectively.
Really? How so?
Well, think about how a good experienced manager delegates tasks, right? They know how to give clear instructions, define the outcome they want, evaluate the result.
Okay, yeah, years of practice.
Exactly. And Jared Spataro from Microsoft had this great analogy. He said, basically, stop thinking of AI as a search engine and start thinking of it as your newest direct report.
Huh. I like that. Your newest, very fast direct report.
Right. And the article argues that boomers in senior roles who spent decades giving direction and assessing work, they're almost naturally predisposed to writing good AI prompts.
Because they know how to delegate clearly.
Precisely. That skill translates directly. They
Yeah.
can use AI as this powerful assistant to amplify their own judgment and expertise. Like that Cisco exec said, AI is augmenting people, handling routine stuff so the experienced folks can focus on the high-level thinking.
That's a really interesting flip on the usual narrative. We're also
Yeah.
seeing AI foster more collaboration between generations.
Yes, this reverse mentoring idea comes up. Younger staff, maybe more tech-savvy initially, coach senior colleagues on using AI tools.
Okay.
But then the senior staff share their deep business knowledge, their strategic insights. The two-way street.
So it's combining the tech skills with that crucial institutional knowledge.
Exactly. Companies get that they need both. There's a quote from Steve Preston at Goodwill Industries International.
Yeah.
He says something like, embrace the value of AI to leverage future jobs for older workers. It's about combining that deep experience with AI's power.
Makes sense. Like the example of the veteran salesperson drafting a proposal with AI, then asking a younger colleague for prompt tips.
Perfect example. Learning from each other.
And this isn't just happening in offices. There's that example with retirees, right?
Oh, yeah. The Arizona State University program teaching seniors people in their 70s, 80s how to use ChatGPT. It's amazing.
What are they using it for?
Relatable stuff. Writing speeches for family events, getting ideas for meals, things relevant to their lives.
And they're getting results.
Apparently, they're amazed, according to the organizers. Stuff that used to take ages, like writing a heartfelt speech, now it takes 5 minutes. It really shows you the potential.
Wow.
And there's even work being done to adapt the AI models themselves, the language, the reference points for older users.
That's smart.
It really suggests that if retirees can use it for personal stuff, older employees can definitely harness it for work.
Okay, so it really sounds like a huge part of why generative AI might be different comes down to, well, the design, how it's built.
Absolutely. Higgins calls it human-centric design. The whole philosophy is about meeting people where they are, not forcing them to learn complex tech jargon.
And the biggest piece of that is the natural language interface, right? Why is that such a game changer?
It's huge because you just talk to it or type like you're messaging a person. Full sentences, normal language,
No coding, no weird commands.
none of that. No complex menus.
Yeah.
It just massively lowers the barrier for everyone, no matter their tech background. It kind of democratizes it.
Yeah, I can see that. It feels much more intuitive, less intimidating than, say, learning spreadsheet formulas or something.
Totally. And the article makes this interesting point. It might even give non-digital natives an advantage sometimes, because maybe they haven't trained themselves to think only in keywords for a search engine. They might just ask a question naturally in plain English.
And the AI gets it. Whereas before, they'd have needed special search tricks.
Exactly. They don't have to translate their thoughts into computer speak.
Okay, so natural language is key. What about how the AI interacts? Is that different too?
Yeah, it's more adaptive. You can have a back and forth. If the first answer isn't quite right, you just tell it, refine your request, still in plain language.
Ah, so it's iterative.
Right. The AI adjusts. It creates this low-pressure way to learn by doing. You're not afraid of breaking it if you don't get the prompt perfect the first time.
Like having a patient tutor.
Kinda. And some of the business-focused AIs are even learning user preferences, company styles.
So it gets tailored over time.
The goal is for the AI to be, like, agnostic to age. It just responds to how you ask, regardless of your tech history.
Another really practical point is the integration, right? How it's showing up inside the tools we already use.
Oh, absolutely critical. This minimizes the friction massively. AI features are being embedded right into Word, Outlook, Google Docs, Teams, Zoom, all that stuff.
The co-pilots and things like that.
Exactly. So you don't need to learn a whole separate AI platform. You just click a button in the software you already know.
So the tech adapts to the human workflow, not the other way around.
That's the idea. Makes it much smoother, especially for folks who maybe skipped learning some other standalone tech tools recently. The entry point is familiar.
Okay, and the last piece of this human-centric puzzle seems to be about trust. especially for people who might be a bit wary of new tech.
Super important. Transparency and user control are key. Most good generative AI tools let you easily see what the AI produced and, crucially, edit it.
So you're not just blindly accepting what it spits out.
No. Experienced workers can treat the AI output as a starting point, a draft. They still apply their judgment, their expertise. They're still in control.
It makes AI feel more like a collaborator, less like a black box you can't question.
Precisely. And good training helps build that confidence too. Showing someone, hey, see that report you hate doing manually? Try this simple prompt. That could be a real light bulb moment.
And people are seeing benefits when they do start using it regularly, even older workers.
Yeah, the data mentioned shows older, regular AI users reporting better work quality, being more productive, making decisions faster, and even enjoying their jobs more.
Enjoying your jobs more, that's interesting.
Seeing those personal, tangible benefits is a huge motivator for others to give it a try.
Okay, so summing that up, it seems generative AI has this potential to really spread across different industries and benefit pretty much everyone, regardless of age.
Exactly. The core idea isn't replacement, it's enhancement, making human work better, easier, more effective. And that applies everywhere.
Their article lists some common uses, right? Like admin tasks, research.
Mm-hmm. Automating routine stuff, emails, meeting notes, first drafts, analyzing data, summarizing research like customer feedback or dense reports, even helping with creative work, brainstorming, outlining code snippets.
And that UK report backed this up, showing popular uses were admin, research, brainstorming.
Yep, those are tasks pretty much everyone does, in some form or another, whatever their job title or industry.
And there were specific industry examples too.
Yeah, loads. Healthcare folks summarizing research, finance people aggregating data, engineers troubleshooting, teachers creating lesson plans, marketing, writing copy. It's really broad.
And the point is, the benefits saving time, getting insights, boosting creativity, those are good for everyone. Maybe even more valuable for experienced people with complex roles.
Could be. That global study finding older power users got big boosts in productivity, job satisfaction, work quality. That really supports the idea. It's an empowerment tool.
So company-wide, if everyone's adopting it, you get a more inclusive culture maybe, better innovation.
That's the hope. You get that synergy, experienced workers guiding the AI with their wisdom, younger workers maybe bringing fresh perspectives on how to use the tech, leads to better decisions, faster innovation.
And it could even help with things like knowledge transfer, right? Capturing expertise before people retire, like that engineer teaching the AI.
Exactly. The AI becomes a way to scale and share that deep knowledge. It doesn't replace the expert, but it helps pass their wisdom on. So yeah, encouraging broad adoption seems like a smart move for productivity and innovation overall.
Okay, so as we wrap this up, what's the single most important thing for you, our listener, to take away about generative AI potentially bridging this generational tech gap?
I think the main thing is, well, that this is a unique opportunity. Because of its human-centric design, the natural language, the integration, it makes powerful tech genuinely accessible to pretty much everyone. And that accessibility is what allows different generations to not just use the tools, but actually learn from each other more effectively while using them.
So what can people actually do with this information? What are the action points?
Well, for more experienced workers, it's really about embracing that lifelong learning idea. Don't be afraid to try AI for small things first. Build confidence. Look for training.
And for younger professionals?
Share what you know. Mentor colleagues. Offer tips. It's a great way to build your own leadership skills, too.
Good point. And for the businesses, the leaders listening?
Invest in the training. Make resources available that explain AI clearly, without jargon. Create a culture where it's okay to ask questions, to experiment, even to fail sometimes.
And value everyone's input.
Absolutely. Recognize that the best results come when you blend AI with human expertise from all generations. That combination is powerful.
Higgins ends with a pretty provocative thought, doesn't he? Encouraging everyone to think about their own unique experience.
Yeah, he says your perspective, whatever your age, matters in shaping how we work with AI going forward. He uses that phrase, the pen of the future of work is in everyone's hand.
I like that. It's empowering.
It is. And to make it super practical, he suggests actually planning this month. Pick a regular task. Try doing it with a generative AI tool. And then this is the key part. Talk about it with a colleague from a different generation. Compare notes. See what they learned. Share what you learned. That's how you really start to see that bridging potential in action.
That's a great concrete step anyone could take. Fantastic insights today. Thanks for digging into this with us.
My pleasure. Really interesting topic.